Hey guys, thank you so much for joining this podcast. For those who do not know me, my name is Arkam Chima, your very own sales guy and the co-founder of Captains Limited. And today we have Neil Swa with us from the Voltage LLC. And today he's going to share a lot of gold nuggets with us. Hello, Neil.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me on the call.
Okay, so today's topic is all about how you can launch, grow, scale, and generate a profitable exit strategy for your brand.
Absolutely.
Let's just start with from scratch.
Yeah, so I won't bore you with my background or details just yet. So let's get into the content and then we can talk a little bit maybe about who I am. And at some point, I might want to learn about that. And that's okay if you don't either. What's more important is that we're here to share some value today, give you some information, share some topics, maybe some things you've heard, maybe some things you haven't. And so I'm hoping to kind of, take the lead on that. And if you have any questions, we can go down any particular rabbit holes you might want. So just go ahead and ask the questions along the way. I'll tell you a little bit about what I think from my experience in past in e-com. I've been doing e-com for more than 15 years, specifically channel focused the last 10 years on Amazon FBA, and then multi-channeling brands that incubate within Amazon and test well to the market of 7 or 8 figures. And then we move those into multi-channel website, etc. So I'm multi-channel focused, not just only Amazon. I do not believe you should just only have an Amazon FBA business. While those can sell well, and there's aggregators and other proof that that's a great market opportunity, I do believe multi-channel is where it's at. Why? Because the business is worth more in the end than any time during its business building phase. So we have to remember revenue is vanity. So we're not going to talk a lot about revenues. If I do, I'll mention what profit share is actually taken from those, because again, who really cares about revenue if you're not making profit? Profit is sanity. Pays yourself, pays your business, gives you opportunity. And of course, cash flow is king, which is the beauty of these businesses. Once the organic growth and kicks in and your brand becomes more recognizable across the platform, there's a lot of cash flow to be had on a consistent basis. So that's one of the reasons why we love this business, why we got as business builders into e-commerce more and more, and then got into the Amazon channel because it was in its sort of infancy. It was growing. It was pre-marketers back in 2011 when I started playing on it. And I've watched a lot of things change as we saw drop shipping and wholesale, retail arbitrage and stuff all kind of kick up in this thing. But there was a whole undercurrent of us still doing private label and not following those trends. And now that we see that trend completely dropping off, and you see the automations and the Walmart things and all this stuff really starting to finally be exposed for what they have been exposed as, and what I've been talking about this for 5 years on my YouTube channel about those whole things. And now we're basically coming back to true business building is private label branding. And if you want to start on the Amazon channel, that's a great place to get started, especially if you have a zero or novice experience in selling with private label. So, there's like 4 or 5 topics I'd love to just kind of break down through this conversation if you would allow me. The first one is going to be in regards to the products. Product is key. Product will make or break the business. And it's, what the hell do I sell literally on the platform? And so I'll just give you some criteria that I use as we attack a business or approach a business growth from either one of our clients or one of the brands that we're building and growing ourselves. We have multiple brands across segments from Shopify to Amazon that we're growing in different ways. Companies we've built into or bought into, and of course, other companies we're looking to acquire as well. But the product itself is really the fundamental base of that. It has to have some independence of operation, meaning it can't be too complex or require too much customer support. Okay. It doesn't necessarily need to require a lot of iterative changes, even iterative innovation in changes. So for example, we won't sell in electronics due to the constant requirement, customer support, manufacturing defects, and constant innovations you need to stay in that don't allow you to sell for years without having to constantly reinvent that product. So I like to keep things pretty simple, stupid. I would consider myself to some degree a very lazy marketer, which is why I love the opportunity that Amazon provides for people who have kind of zero experience, or again, even some novice experience trying this model out. But at the end of the day, we have to train our brain to understand what a good product is. And that's really kind of a fundamental of the business. And I know so many people say, well, I understand the fundamentals. Why? Teach me something I don't know. But at the same time, with 76% of all Amazon sellers failing in the first year, they miss the fundamentals of product research. So let's get that broken down. What does it mean? It means my product needs to have upside potential. It needs to be evergreen or blue sky. It needs to have criteria of profitability. That means that I can compete successfully in the marketplace. And what I mean by that
is... Sorry for cutting you off. I have like a crucial question. While selecting your products, what's the priority? You have to make sure that it's for both like Amazon and Shopify as well, or for Amazon is the priority?
Its upside potential must have multi-channel capability. It should not just be a product that is channel locked on Amazon only, because that is completely possible. You might think your product sitting here on Amazon that you're selling and is starting to do very well has the capability of channeling out to another marketplace or even into a paid traffic Shopify website. You need to have qualified that through your competition research and product research before you launch that product. Okay. It needs to have profitability and the upside potential of reaching multiple channels. Don't just channel lock yourself on Amazon. And this is a mistake I've seen a number of amateur sellers make. They get to a decent level on Amazon, and then every attempt to get it out to the regular market beyond Amazon, the direct to consumer or DTC market, it simply doesn't work. They don't have enough profitability. They don't have the right message. They're not having an audience and conversation topic with folks, and they're not really understanding the sales or the psychology of the buyer on that other channel. They may have got the psychology of the buyer on Amazon a little better, but they never really thought about how do I multi-channel this? And why is that important? Because in business building, we need to look at profitability first. We need to look at growth and scalability next. And then we need to look at upside potential and exit potential third. Okay. As I look at that business, that means that I'm willing to deploy more capital into the market at the very 90 and 120 days out to market than most sellers are willing to do, because my end game is profitability, growth, scale, and exit. So I'm willing to look for 7, multi-7 or 8 figures, which means I'm approaching the market with a very different go-to-war mindset, right? I see a lot of folks not recognizing that this battle place in the market is a war, and you're going to battle. They think they can just walk in, and this is like the Matrix, and they can fly around the room and shoot everything, and they're going to be awesome. That doesn't exactly happen in the way that they think. So if you're going to market with maybe one product, one variation, and it's a $19.99 product, you and I are not competing in the same market. Okay. My products will typically have 50 to 100 or up to 300 in retail, and they are required to have a minimum of $12 in net profit per unit after all costs, goods, manufacturing defects, marketing, PPC costs, and everything else are on top of it.
Because it's like quite hard to advertise those products on like Shopify or other platforms which have like, it's hard to like advertise them because you won't get profitable if you're going for Facebook or even Instagram, TikTok.
After you might find your ad costs for capitalizing that one first click to sale could be $30, $35, and you may acquire a customer, and that's a win. But your product retail price might be $24.99, and all of a sudden you don't have the profit to that. And if you aren't smart at email and SMS marketing, and you don't understand how to set up a secondary upsell or any other of the technical requirements for e-com on that channel, you're simply not going to see that initial click to sale as profitable, and you're going to give up. Now, I would look at that and say, I made a customer acquisition. I'm winning. So how do I make that customer's lifetime value more profitable? How do I increase their average order value and get them to buy more products? So I've got to have email, SMS, retargeting, and other things in place so that I can acquire that customer for $30, even if they bought a $24.99 product, because I know the next time they're going to buy is going to make it profitable. And if I can do that in days, 2 weeks, I now have a business model, right? And so people really need to think about the whole click to sale and secondary sale and tertiary sale. What does that mean for me on Amazon? I can explain some of that, right? For products. So I don't want to interrupt. If you got questions or people are asking,
we can just answer those questions in the end of the podcast.
Okay, fantastic. We'll get to them, folks. I don't mean to miss it. If I'm missing it, I'll get back to you in a minute. But at the end of the day, I need to know that those products have that potential. It has more profitability. Typically, I'm going to want to see 20 to 40 or more dollars in profit per unit so that I can go to market and I can really look at that acquisition and that first click to sell acquisition, because at that point, I've established the first step of a brand where additional 2, 3, 4, 5, 50 products branded in the market will add in that additional brand revenue at the back end on Amazon for my business. And that's not just on the site, but that's QR marketing code, email marketing, and retargeting stuff, or AdWord click traffic or TikTok traffic that I can pull back into that environment of that Amazon store and increase my back end profits by getting them to buy additional products or higher order values within Amazon's system. Okay. So what I'm targeting then as a base of customers is a 12-month CLTV, customer lifetime value of 12 months at a minimum of $1,000. Because if I look at Amazon's own proven stats, 100 million of its Prime members spend more than $1,000 a year within Amazon. So if I'm only selling 2 or 3 products that equate to what? A one-time a year purchase of $50, maybe a 2-time a year purchase of $100, I'm nowhere near my true market opportunity in Amazon. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm going in to deploy multiple products and what I call my 5x5 game plan, which means I'm going to launch a minimum of 5 SKUs with variations that may add up to 25 or more additional products in the marketplace, because I'm going after a 12-month customer lifetime value of $1,000 in my brand, because they're buying those products from someone else on Amazon already. So what does that translate into in business? Well, just as one of my clients I was mentioning to you a minute ago, I got off the call just before I got on here. He's now broke 2 million in revenues a year. He's doing just about average of 80,000 a month in profit, and he's about to increase that through additional product lines and stuff that are coming to market. He's just crushing it in 16 months. Why? Because he went to market to go to battle. And now I've consulted with some of his competitors, and he is like less than 1% of the market share on Amazon yet. Right. He's got huge upside. He has a $20 million upside potential for that business if you want to keep going at this current rate for the next 36, 48 months. It's completely doable. He has
so if we're cutting you out, with how much investment did he start it?
And then capitalize additional product needs from the demand of the business. So as he launched those products and went into the market, and he was at 30 and then 64,000 a month, and literally within the first 45 days, the business demanded more capitalization. Right, because now he's selling products, and he went from having a few thousand units to ordering half a container to ordering multiple containers. So the business needed capitalized. It said, this is how much I need, and you got to capitalize that. Whether you do it from OPM, whether you do it from cash lines, whether you do credit lines, you do it from networks, home offices, or wherever you can raise the capital from, the business does require that. And that's what a lot of people miss on scale. They think it's great to get to 7 figures, which it is, but they also don't realize the amount of effort, time, and capital it requires, and of course the additional capital of operations it can require to make that net profit occur. So we're talking about scales of scope, talking about doing it yourself and done for you, and we're talking about these levels of knowledge within business. I don't think a lot of people get translated into these conversations. So it has to start again with that product and what I sell, but it also has to get down to the numbers. That's actually understanding how we as 7 and 8 figure sellers analyze scientifically the numbers to go by the numbers and determine that it pencils in profitability. Why is that all cost of goods and operational cost are included in each unit? So I can buy a new unit for every unit that sells, but I can also make profit and cover all my operational and have potential for Amazon PPC campaigns or other traffic marketing campaigns to go out and continue to dominate my space. Now, I've actually got case studies that prove that when done correctly on Amazon, you can actually back down or even shut off your PPC campaigns. And I did a podcast just recently with Norm on his podcast.
Norm Farrar?
Yep, you can go check it out. I've got 3 of them on there, but the last one talked about how we were able to shut down some of our PPC campaigns to 30, 40,000 a month and basically back those down to almost zero, but maintain our sales and ranking position due to how we are playing with the algorithm. Now, by playing, I don't mean violating, and I don't mean black hat, and I don't mean breaking the terms of service. I mean, the algo wants to reward the best product and vendors who have the best numbers. And so
are you dropping any external traffic on it? Or
no external traffic. So the end result was Amazon's distribution and traffic system want to reward good brands and vendors who have certain metrics, both seller health, the obvious green lights. There's a lot of metrics they put in behind that they don't tell you about. Right? They don't tell you about the metrics that have to do with ranking and algorithmic decision making, and whether or not you as a vendor may not have more units than the current vendor just above you. And while your certain metrics of sales percentage and USP are great, even greater than the guy just ahead of you, if you don't have enough units to fulfill that, they won't level you up. So you've got to not only have the better metrics, you got to have more inventory, because there's different things in the algo that are triggering you to get more distribution across their platform.